What's good, everyone? This is Artists of Truth coming to you all this evening, Friday evening, which is called Black Friday. Honestly, I'm not even trying to go out here, but I need to go to the grocery store. I'm just having this sudden urge for vegan apple pie, But yeah, it's Thanksgiving has came and gone. Of course, I don't celebrate it I don't celebrate it anymore. I can't tell anyone else not to celebrate it, because people have their mindset on what they want to do. Few people ask why I was not celebrating Thanksgiving. And, I had to explain my position to them, which, of course, sometimes you can't explain the reasons why, especially if people are not open-minded. For those of you who would like to know, simply put, I do not take part in pagan holidays. The celebration of Thanksgiving was not really what our textbooks from high school or college actually tells us. I did a lot of reading and researching on a lot of valuable information. It was actually a book that I've been reading, The Lies My Teacher Told Me, and you all should check it out. It's a very, very informative book explaining the reasons why American textbooks are not forthcoming with the truth of how America came to what it is today. So, getting back to the reasons why I didn't celebrate Thanksgiving. The genocide of Native Americans. I found that quite disturbing that people, especially people of color, would be comfortable enough to celebrate it. Of course, I've had people tell me, well, it's not about that. It's about celebrating and being thankful for family life and whatnot. Of course, I always have something to combat that. And for those of you who feel like, that's your reason, of course you are entitled to it. I don't attack anyone, because I'm starting to realize that, you can challenge a person's intellect and character and it's still, and present specific facts, and it still will not change their mind, So, I had my reasons. I tell anyone, you have 365 days out of the year that you can be thankful and put something together for your family. 365 days out of the year. It's not necessary for, for people, especially people of color, to celebrate Thanksgiving. If you really and truly want to give thanks, do it with your family. Do it on a day where native, indigenous people of the land were not slaughtered. And of course, you'll have some people that will say, well, you're doing too much, you're reaching. And it's like, wow, well, if I'm doing too much and, I'm reaching, the basic common sense would set in. And you can't help but to ask, why would you want to celebrate the massacre of your own people? I never heard of anyone celebrating when their child or significant other or a family member was murdered. Like, I don't know a lot of people that actually jump to celebrating the death, the unexplainable slaughter of a family member. I mean, hearing me say it, it sounds like what the fuck? Why would you say something like that? But there are some people that jump out here and they celebrate Thanksgiving. It's just like, the more you read, the more you know. And that is my reason why I don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Not eating any turkey or any of that nonsense. If I want to do things with my family, I've explained it to them. Hey, we can do things on another date, just not this date. Furthermore, it's a lot of people out here right now Black Friday shopping. Of course, some people feel like I'm reaching even with Black Friday, saying, that's, the auctioning of black slaves is not what Black Friday is about. And, I tell people, have you looked this information up? And it's funny. Either people would tell me no, or they would kind of like dance around it and not give a straightforward answer. But me, I like to know the meaning behind what I am celebrating, what I am being a part of. I like to know what the meaning is behind these holidays. It's almost like getting a tattoo. Like, why would you get a tattoo that has no meaning? You get some asterisk tattooed on you, and people ask you, well, what does the asterisk mean? And you're looking like, I don't know. I like the asterisk. I just wanted it. It doesn't make any sense. Anyone in their sound mind would understand that. And furthermore, I see, like I was saying, see a lot of people out here shopping. They're standing in these long lines, for electronic devices, materialistic items that have no real, it doesn't hold any real value. I was watching a video earlier this evening, and a person was, I'm looking at a group of people. It was like a herd of them, and they basically dismantled a some sort of stand that was holding televisions, flat screen televisions. And I'm sitting there and I'm just looking and I'm watching these people. They're just fumbling all over each other in such a disorganized fashion, trying to get a flat screen TV. They gotta have it. And something dawned upon me, and it was funny. I said, that's amazing that people are fumbling over each other on a day that people of color were put on an auction block and just auctioned off for a discounted price. People are so selfish. And this is another reason why I feel why our country is so divided. It's not just racism by itself, but it is the lack of compassion and respect and knowledge of what certain days correspond to, what they really mean. Furthermore, I feel that people who are going out here buying flat screen TVs and everything when they really don't need them, it just adds to the conditioning. It adds to the programming of the human brain to subject themselves to certain actions, certain behaviors, certain characteristics that they would not normally adapt to. But hey, that's just my opinion. I take that back. It's my opinion, but it's very, very fact. It's factual. So, while you're out here celebrating pagan holidays, not having a care in the world, and of course, I had some people of color that was just like, man, you're reaching. I was like, you don't want to reach? You don't want to have a clear, concise understanding of what you're celebrating? And the sad part about it is you have some people of color who are actually complacent. They are complacent with not educating themselves. And this is another reason why we get treated the way we're treated. So it's almost to a sense that you can't come to the defense of people of color as a whole, because a lot of people, they're complacent. They're comfortable being a house nigga, a field nigga, operating with that type of mentality. They feel like, it's not broke, why fix it? We're free. Why are you dwelling on it? What does history have to do with you today? And you know what? It was funny. Someone asked me that. It's like, what does history have to do with you? You weren't around when slavery was around. Your parents, your grandparents probably weren't around when slavery was in full swing. And for those of you who have that mindset, let me explain something to you. They say history repeats itself. That's a phrase that stays true. Racism existed during slavery. Racism still exists today. Slavery existed back when? over, what 400 years ago. Slavery still exists today, just in a different form. So when people, when elders make that quote, I should say, when elders quote that particular phrase, history repeats itself. History repeats itself, but in a different form. I would like people to stop operating with their emotions and start using their brain, and just really thinking deeply in a relaxed state. Just think. If history is just that, history, what actions and behaviors from history that you read about that you are now witnessing today? Think about it. And then ask yourself later on, damn, is history really repeating itself? It is. But in closing, I just would like everyone to be mindful. Educate yourselves. Pick up a book. The Harry Potter books, they're cool and everything, but it's not beneficial to your mental growth. So you don't have to take my word for it. Check out the book, The Lies My Teacher Told Me. Then you'll have a clear, concise understanding of where I'm coming from. Have a great evening.